Welcome to our podcast, Disability Warriors, The Download, powered by Liner Legal, your disability warriors, fighting for dignity, justice, and the benefits that you deserve. Each episode, we bring you powerful stories, real legal insight, and everything you need to feel informed, supported, and never alone. Whether you are navigating the complex disability process yourself, supporting a loved one, or just want to understand the system a little better, you're in the right place. Make sure to hit follow now so you never miss an episode. And if you're ready to take the next step, head to our website at linerlegal.com to schedule your free case review.
Because your voice matters.
Your fight matters.
And we're with you every step of the way. Let's dive in. Hey, everybody, welcome. You know what? I hate that introduction. Hey, everybody. What should I say instead? Actually, this is the intro right here. Me debating what I should say to begin. Welcome to another episode of Disability Warriors, The Download. We're calling this the Slippers edition. We're a little too casual here, Andrew. What's going on here? What makes you think you can be on this podcast? I mean, what? I think we had like 6 downloads last week in slippers. If you wore shoes, maybe we would have gotten 7.
You know, a comfortable lawyer is a good lawyer.
Is that true?
Yeah. I mean, as anybody who's in Northeast Ohio knows, it's been snowing virtually nonstop since Thanksgiving. So I actually invested in a pair of snowshoes, and they're just too clunky. And also, I didn't want to track salt all around our office, so I take care of the office.
I appreciate the latter part, that you're trying to help us avoid tracking salt in the office. It's been a bit of a murky winter.
It has been a murky winter. I mean, it started snowing on Thanksgiving. That really... Oh, you were out of town.
Yeah, for Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
right.
I had to drive east to my sister's house in Orange, and that was like a 45-minute drive, probably longer than that. And I feel like it's been nonstop. And I'm going through my own situation with my flood, and it was like crazy snow that day, December 30th, and then New Year's Eve. And it's just been snowing ever since.
Yeah.
So that's why the slippers are here.
Were you the one who told me yesterday that yesterday was like the first day in 19 days that the temperature rose above freezing?
I didn't tell you that, but I definitely observed that when I went to walk my dogs. It felt like warm outside. It was
bizarre, right?
Yeah, but then the snow was melting everywhere, and it's like water, standing water.
Yeah.
Can't win.
That was sweet.
I don't like it.
That was sweet. You know, what's crazy is, I feel like every single time we do an episode of the show, like the entire Social Security world has shifted. And for the first time ever, like there's been kind of calm. Like there hasn't been a ton of news about Social Security, at least in the last like month or so since we've done this. There haven't been any new proposed, regulations or changes. We were joking earlier, the biggest news is that they just hit 100 million downloads of myssa.gov.
Which is big news, and I congratulate Social Security on that. The one positive thing I say about Social Security is their website's fantastic. It's a great website, and everyone should have a My Social Security account. I actually did a video for my LTD clients why they should have a My Social Security account, because there's so much that you can take from that account to use on your long-term disability claim, like your estimated benefits, a benefit verification letter. Those are all things that we need, for every case. So I agree, there's been no news, but that was very interesting to me that 100 million people have made an account. I am one of those people. But, that's politics in America. When we first started doing this after the election in January of 2025, more than a year ago, Doge was like the hot button issue. It was all about, reframing the government's expenditures. And now we're, how would you describe the political climate now? It's not so focused on Social Security anymore. It's basically,
we've transitioned to winter. It's all about ICE now.
Yeah, quite literally a lot about ICE and about, states versus the federal government. Didn't think we'd be having that discussion. But no, that's terrible what's happening in our country, but it's good for Social Security. No news is good news. We've always said that on this podcast. I want them to leave us alone because the machine operates well. Social Security operates well. People are getting benefits. Benefits are getting paid timely. The program's doing what it should. Leave us alone.
I actually want to ask you a question that somebody asked me. I was a guest on a podcast recently, and somebody asked me a question that we ask each other all the time. or we talk about all the time, which is like how we got into being, disability attorneys, how we got here. And when I was asked that question, I actually pivoted and I said, "You're asking the wrong question. You're not asking me. You're asking me how I got here, but the question that I think is more interesting, or the answer would be more interesting that I want to ask you, is not how we got here." I mean, at a baseline, you and I both started doing this because we graduated law school and we're trying to find jobs, and it turned into like, a true passion of ours. But the more interesting story is what's kept you here.
I had a feeling that was going to be the pivot question, and I was really hoping, because I've been asking myself that question every day for, I don't know, I keep saying 15 or 16 years, but it's, that's approximately how long I've been doing this. So yeah, Michael, you're absolutely right. I only got here, I don't want to say out of desperation, but it was pretty close to it.
Pretty desperate to become a disability lawyer.
Well, I had one criteria. I said I wanted to be involved in the court system, whether it was a public defender. I never considered being a prosecutor, but public defender was very high up on the list, or just really any type of litigation focused lawyer, because graduating in 2009, if you wanted to review contracts or documents, there was actually plenty of work because of the Bernie Madoff, that whole thing, which involved a lot of Cleveland law firms. What's kept me here is, I think it was meant to be. I've always cared about people. I've always rallied against the big machine, the big insurance, the people who take advantage of each other. It was my passion as a child, throughout college. So I didn't know this was the place for me until I accidentally found it. My wife likes to say that this was destiny because, as we've talked on this podcast before, we met when we were 13. She lives with a disability. She has hearing loss.
I thought you were going to say she lives with you. And
she does live with me and the disability. We're all there together. The disabled dog. A lot of disabilities in my house. But that she likes, she's a big believer in things are meant to be. And I kind of go back and forth on thinking like that. But, maybe this was where I'm meant to be. Like, it just feels natural. I mean, going after the insurance companies in particular, and just how predatory they are, and how that it's just so easy for people to be taken advantage of, and we can really do something about that. That's what keeps me here.
Yeah.
What did you say? What was your answer?
So same thing. I mean, I kind of got here because when we graduated law school, there weren't a ton of options, but it's so interesting. What keeps me here are the memories of helping people who now, just being transparent, wouldn't make it through our case filters. So the first clients that I ever had were mental health cases, primarily children. And I remember working, going out. This is back in the day when I used to go door to door to door. You remember that? And I would meet with these parents of children who had ADHD, OCD, like a laundry list of, mental health problems. And the parents just looked so defeated by the system that they were battling, by children who were challenging for them to provide for and give, not just financially, but even just give them the support that they need at home. And telling them my own story, and that's one of the things that kind of unifies both of us, is that you and I were both like the worst fucking kids. We were both troublemakers, right? Which I think there's real inspiration in that too, by the way. But
we were part of a system that held us back in a lot of ways. I mean, that certainly forms our core constitution.
But we were also both fortunate that, like, think about it. If you or I had been from the inner city as opposed to like, Orange, Ohio, or Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, we might be disability recipients instead of disability lawyers. But we had families that at least prioritized education.
Yeah, my parents were a safety net.
Heck yeah.
That we are trying to establish a safety net for our clients that a lot of people aren't born into. But no, that is 100% right. My parents prevented me from, taking the wrong exit many times. And, I finally got to college and the law clicked very naturally with me, and, the rest is history. what I find interesting.
Andrew, you're taking over my story, bro.
I know. There's something I wanted.
I'm not asking about you. This is about me now. Andrew, I will point to you when it's your turn to talk.
Oh, sure. Okay.
We'll have. Can we play like a symbol in the background or something when it's time for?
I'm gonna just check with Adam.
Yeah, We'll check with Adam when it's time to talk. No,
Back to you.
back to me. Come on.
I'm listening. I'm paying attention.
I just, it was telling these parents the story that you and I share, which is, I wasn't the greatest kid. I wasn't a straight A student. I always had a 504 and an IEP and all of these things. But telling that story really kind of like turned, it gave those families hope. I could tell they look so different when I would leave their house than when I got to their house. And it wasn't just about, okay, we're going to be able to get income for our child. It was maybe we've been looking at this wrong, instead of thinking like we're going to have to provide for them for forever. There's not going to be a chance for them to graduate high school, graduate college, get a job. They heard my story and were like, maybe there is hope here. And initially that without question, that's what kept me going. Just looking for those little wins, because we have hard freaking days, man. I mean, you and I are lucky in the sense that because of what our roles here are in the office, I'm not saying we don't deal with, complaining clients, but for the most part, you and I get to celebrate the victories, and we don't have to do as much of the, listen to as much of the day-to-day challenges that our staff has to listen to. But those victories that we've had, though, they just become freaking addictive, man. Mm-hmm. When you know that like we've literally helped sustain people.
Well, you said a phrase to me when I joined the firm back in 2017, and you said it so many times, and it still sticks in my head. Other lawyers lose that case.
Yeah.
And you could look at a case and people would just, assume that they're not going to win this case. But, being creative, those are the wins that absolutely stick with you.
Yeah.
And I still think about, what's hard about being in litigation is you're just moving from project to project. You'll have a great win, but then you're on to a totally different subject. So, I can think of cases back my whole career that will just pop in my head. Oh, I remember when that happened. I remember when that one question I asked the VE changed everything. But we've done so many cases. We've helped so many people. But what I struggle with is you almost want to say congratulations to our clients when it's done. And it just feels very weird to say that statement at the end of the process.
Yeah.
I mean, congratulations that you don't have to deal with stress, but I'm so sorry you're here in the first place. I'm sorry that all these things happened to you that should not have happened to you.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about, I want to use this as an outlet for, this is interesting. Most people probably wouldn't advertise this, but I forwarded you an email last night. I forwarded all the other attorneys in the office an email last night. We had a bar complaint. It was, obviously because my name goes on all the documents in the office. Whenever there's a grievance filed, it gets my name on it. Lucky me. But, just to be specific, the person filed a complaint and basically said that, we falsified information on their disability application, and that there wasn't proper, recognition given to the fact that they were, 100% permanent, totally disabled. I don't necessarily need to go into the tumbleweeds of this specific thing, but what I, first of all, and here's the beautiful thing, when I was looking through even the documentation that person submitted to the Supreme Court, it was clear that there was nothing wrong done. We actually hadn't even submitted an application yet, so there wasn't an opportunity to have done anything wrong yet. And the issues that the person complained of certainly would have been corrected by the office. I want to ask you, though, are there things that weigh in the back of your mind, pitfalls that you're worried that we as lawyers could slip into, that open us up to ethical challenges? I mean, what is that something that's weighing on you day to day?
I don't say it's weighing on me. I think that complaint is an example of a complaint that doesn't have any value because we've worked painstaking. This is not an advertisement for the firm. This is what I honestly believe, is that we've worked painstakingly to create systems to prevent us from making mistakes, all the way from intake to appeal. We have very, very significant investments in all the software, and not just money, in the time.
Money.
It's a ton of money to get software like this, but also the time and the amount of staff that have been involved to tailor it specifically to our experience. These programs that we have that run our cases, they're generic, but we've tailored them. So no, I am actually comforted by the things we do here, because yeah, mistakes will happen, but it's never, it's never, reckless on our part.
Yeah.
Humans make mistakes. It's going to happen. And a lot of these complaints are more born from the process, things that we cannot control.
Yes.
For the fact that
Yes.
I wish someone's 100% disability rating from the Veterans Affairs was worth weight, but it's not. And
Well, the person complained, and this is valid. At least it's just that we didn't even get to the process to submit the documents to Social Security yet, because that happens next, and representation ended before we got to this point. But it wasn't about, their claim was denied because we didn't tell them. It was that they felt like their claim could have had the potential to be processed quicker had we identified it on the application. What this individual didn't understand is that the way that you flag that for Social Security is by uploading that benefit verification showing that the person is 100% permanent, totally disabled after the application is filed. That's just the process for
so we didn't even get that far.
No, we didn't get that far. The person terminated us before we even were able to finish the application. And then using our work, that person then literally just submitted our application. It's frustrating. What?
Did he get approved?
No idea.
I didn't know.
No idea. I don't know the follow through with it. But, actually, one of the things that I've been thinking about, I'm curious to get your take on this. I love how we're like airing out our routine conversations right here. But you know what? This is stuff that's other people might have weighing on them, attorneys in particular. The Social Security disability process has to be misunderstood by people in the Office of Disciplinary Counsel, right? So they're used to state court, municipal court, federal court, but this administrative process where, first of all, you can always furnish evidence. So you really your liability is almost zero, because we could have indefinitely submitted the information or made the corrections that this person was complaining of. We never even had an opportunity to, because we never submitted an application. But I'm thinking about reaching at, once they dismiss this complaint, there's no question it'll be dismissed because it's groundless. I'm thinking about reaching out to them and saying, I think I want to teach you guys about the Social Security disability process, because it doesn't work like so many of the other areas of law that you see people complaining. And when you even see somebody send in a complaint like this, you should be able to on your own dismiss it and say, well, dude, you didn't even submit. There wasn't even an application submitted. So how could there be an error that's prejudicial?
I've brought this up to you before, and that was really in the back of my mind when I read the complaint. I want to be careful here. I understand this is the process that the bar follows, but they took a complaint and they just forwarded it to you. It didn't appear that there was any real investigation or understanding into the issue, but the amount of time that is taken from your life, which you could have spent with your family or working on cases, to respond, and then it's just over, and it will almost certainly be dismissed, and that'll be the end of the story. But I feel like if they actually understood the process, they could read through the complaint, and then, maybe the rules require them to send it to us right away. I'm not sure.
No, because there have been times in the past, not many, we, unfortunately, with our growth comes, what do they say? More money, more problems, right?
More clients, more likelihood you're going to have a bar complaint.
That's exactly how it is, right? And also you have to remember who we help. And I wish that the bar understood who we help. We exist to help people who are mentally challenged, they're confused. That's why they hire us. If they were capable, they wouldn't need an attorney in the first place, which is fine. I get that, but that's also why I feel like there needs to be leeway a little bit. Like even in this guy's response, he talks about his own health challenges and saying, excused errors because he can't, understand things appropriately. Well, he certainly knew how to fill out that form. But I feel like I'm getting distracted in my own thoughts because they're going in so many different directions. That's the ADHD brain in me. But in any event, I know there have been so many times in the past, and I shouldn't say so many times. There have been examples of times in the past when somebody filed a grievance, and then the only way that I found out that there was a grievance was because I got a letter from the Supreme Court telling me that they're dismissing the claim because it's baseless.
So you think there was some level of investigation that occurred before this particular complaint?
I don't know that there was really an investigation.
It just looked like they forwarded you a letter.
I think that what they could have done is read even the supporting documentation that this guy submitted, where I myself, by the way, and this I'm, at least glad that my name is on everything, because, we have 10,000 clients, Andrew, 10,000 Social Security disability clients. But I was actually exchanging emails directly with this gentleman. I told him what the process was. I told him that, we would review everything. I told him all these things, and he still just, was impatient, had his own way of doing things. And so I didn't push back when he didn't want to move forward. That's fine. But
there's a lot of people that follow that same path. You gave him specific steps, and it's all in the email.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that they could have just read the emails that he submitted back and forth between me and the client and been like, this is like incredible attention that your case was being given, and dismissed it without even forwarding it to me. And it's fine. Like at this point, I'm built for it. I mean, the first complaint that we ever had, do you remember the very first bar complaint that we ever had? It was with you. It was a deaf case.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about that.
And in the end, I remember our response was like, not only should we not be grieved, we should be publicly commended for our work in this case, which is frankly how I feel with all of these.
Oh, I was blindsided by that complaint. And, even though they have told us in our ethics classes that it will happen, like I think there's statistics out there that say, if you practice for 40 years, you're going to have a complaint.
Yes.
It will happen. But no, it was devastating, especially because it was a happy resolution, but people get thinking, they get angry, and they want to come after their representatives.
Yep.
And it took a ton of time and work to respond to it. But you're right, we did get commended in writing about what we did on that case. We did a fantastic job. We can't say much more because there's a confidentiality agreement.
No, we're being vague enough. We're not saying anything wrong right now. But I don't know. I just what would you think about me reaching out to, once they dismiss this complaint, reaching out to them and saying, I would love, maybe I should even put this inside, because I haven't sent the response yet. Maybe in the response, what I should offer is to come into their office and train them on the Social Security adjudication process so that they can see when something like this comes up in the future, they don't even need to forward it to me.
I mean, I hope they accept your offer.
Would it be crazy to put that in my email to them, though?
I would not put it in that. I would keep the issue separate.
So submit the letter the way that I sent it to you, and then maybe in the email because all I'm going to do is attach a letter to an email, but in the email that goes with it saying, I've reviewed this, very much off the record. I would love the opportunity to come to Columbus, meet with your office, explain the process of how these claims work. I think you need to understand who we're helping. We exist to help the people who are mentally ill. We help people who are schizophrenic that don't even, or split personalities, literally. So they need to afford us a little bit of extra grace to be able to do our jobs. We can't constantly be working with the threat of grievances from people hanging over our back without at least knowing that the Office of Disciplinary Counsel, and something where they could have dismissed it just from even reading the communication back and forth, isn't just going to look at it and say, we're not going to waste this guy's time.
Yeah. And there was a lot of anger in the complaint that he made it clear that there were ultimately no problem.
Yeah.
Like he kind of defeated his own claim, but then really just wanted to attack the firm. And that's, something coming from someone's emotion.
So this guy has filed he filed something with the Better Business Bureau, left us, a terrible review online, but he keeps like updating it, which is weird, like changing it. Not giving us more stars or anything like that, but just like, it's like he feels like it's a living, breathing review. And we haven't even communicated with him since we ended the relationship. I mean, clearly there's something mentally ill going on with this person, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like giving them some education, letting them see
that this is
my
different.
face. Maybe I'd take you down because you're the more handsome one of the two of us.
I will put on real shoes.
Will you?
Absolutely. I'll put on my snowshoes.
I mean, Andrews, that you sit on the what do you call it? You just help?
I do bar admissions. Yeah. For the Cleveland Bar Association. This would be the Ohio bar.
Yeah, this is the Ohio bar. Yeah, but that's how it all works. You submit a complaint to
CMBA.
This person, I think, just happened to submit it to.
I think you can file directly with the bar that we're members of, but I think you could probably go through your local organization. And then the local can make referrals on their own, which we've never had. He even talks about our reputation. I think we're spending too much time on this, but the point is, I think we're
not spending too much time.
No, it's frustrating to me because this proves your point. The amount of time we've spent just talking about it now, imagine all the hours offline that were spent drafting the report, and how many attorneys chimed in? Emily, Deborah, me,
everybody,
Rob eventually. Those are all the lawyers in our firm who took a moment to respond to this because we need to protect ourselves. We can't protect our clients.
Yeah.
If we have, threats of, reprimand.
It is actually funny that in there, the guy says he hired us for the firm's reputation.
Yes, 100%.
You never even let us do our job.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a shame. It's really distracting. It shows you how much we care about what we've built, that we have to take these steps to respond to it.
Dude, this is the stuff that keeps me up at night. I mean, at this point, thankfully, I don't lose sleep about we're going to close because there's not going to be money tomorrow. We're fine. We're good. What I'm concerned about is some dumb person hungry makes something up, sends it to this guy. Thankfully, he basically did my work for me and submitted actual correspondence back and forth, which I think demonstrates I went above and beyond. But like, you don't know what somebody's going to say about you out there. And that could be what, how much are you and I always staring at our Google reviews, worried that somebody's out there blasphemizing us? I wish that all of the clients that we did help knew how valuable it was to take the time to leave us a 5-star review because if you were to look at the practice as a whole, we do, we send out surveys to clients at the end of a case now looking for, whether we win or lose. We asked them, how they felt about things to understand how happy they were or unhappy they were with us. It's like 99% are happy, but the loudest voices are always going to be the people that have something negative to say. There's no way around that.
Yeah, no, I can remember a sign maybe in the break room when I worked at Heinen's as a high schooler at the local grocery store, and it said, "A happy customer will tell one person, an unhappy customer will tell 4."
Yeah,
and that's true. I mean, people, I think that goes a lot into what we see on TV and we see on our social media feeds. If it bleeds, it leads. I mean, that's, nobody reports when the plane successfully lands,
right?
Which is happening all day, every day. But,
talk about the crashes.
We only talk about the crashes. And I do wish our clients who were happy with us would take time, because these negative reviews, they're often emotionally charged and they don't have substance. But it seems like there's a group of haters out there. I've noticed, people will like those comments. There's people with an axe to grind, and we can't stop that.
Well, here's our call to action to wrap us up. If you're one of the 7 people who listens to our podcast, Mom, Carrie, talking to you guys, go online right now. Leave us a 5-star review. 5 stars, please. Please.
Thank you.
Anyways, man, I always appreciate the conversation. Thank you for another therapy session.
Yeah. No, it felt like you had a lot to get off your chest. I'm happy.
I feel a little lighter now.
You should. And you were validated by every attorney in our firm. And I'm sure the Ohio bar will respond with the exact same. I know we're not worried, but
I'm not worried about it. But it is good to get it off my chest. And now you all are inside the mind of Liner
Thanks. Our favorite
in
6.
November. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Disability Warriors, The Download. If today's episode inspired you, educated you, or gave you hope, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who needs it. Need help with your disability claim? Visit linerlegal.com today to schedule your free consultation. Stay connected with us on social media for more stories, insights, and victories from the disability community. Until next time, stay strong, stay empowered, and remember, you are not in this alone.
Because your voice matters.
Your fight matters.
And we're with you every step of the way.